It's still a little smoky. I had that sage burning. Let me get my eyes straight. I'm gonna dive into this science. Yeah, I had the sage burning a little too hard, but we all right now. It's all set in here. Give me 1 second. Peace, 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 my brothers and sisters. Peace, 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 peace. I just like to start off with a meditation. Always. Peace, 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 peace. Positive vibrations, positive vibrations, positive vibrations, positive vibrations, positive vibrations, positive vibrations. Peace, 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 peace. Positive vibrations, positive vibrations, positive vibrations. I'm gonna jump into this science in 1 second. Let me make sure I got everything I need. Alright. Alright. Let's get into this message. But I always like to set the atmosphere, man. I just want to start off by saying peace, 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 peace to all my brothers and sisters. But today, man, we're going to do something, especially to my brothers and sisters that's Moors, and even those that's inquiring about being a Moor. I want you to know that the Moors is not no religious dogma. Remember, everything, and no matter what it is, there's always types. Just like when you're in a relationship, you want a certain type of man, a certain type of woman. You're not going to deal with just anything. So that's what I advise all my brothers and sisters that want to be Moors. It's always a type. Just because a person has a fez on does not mean they're righteous. We are nobles, scholars, master craftsmen, adapts, Sufis, alchemists. We study the esoteric science. We understand what's above and below. We understand the astrology. We link everything together. So I want to illuminate some things. We are not under the religious dogma. And if you see any Moors promoting religious dogma, well, you have to say, well, I thought Moors are not under religious dogma. I thought Moors are adapts. I thought they study all law. You should ask them more of that. And if they don't answer your question eloquently with pride and love and truth and peace and freedom and justice, then you know something's not right about that vessel. Because the Moor science, we are not no Muslims per se. Are Moors Muslim? That's some Moors, yes they are, but we don't promote religious dogma. We study and promote all the laws and the prophets. So I'm going to be illuminating the Circle 7 Koran today. And I'm going to be illuminating a particular scripture. And I'm going to show you in that particular scripture in the Circle 7 Koran, it's referring to the Egyptian kemetic, the Moor Mason workman tools. I tell you, my brothers and sisters, the only reason why men or women that's Moors hate or frown upon science because they don't understand it. I promise you. You have to ask what's going on in them temples. It's a Circle 7 Koran. And that's what I ask all Moors that I say, I see you reading books from other people, but if we are going by what the prophet gathered and compiled, because he gathered and compiled good information, what are you reading? When brothers be talking that, oh, they don't believe in the spiritual. And this whole 7 Circle Quran is about the 18 missing years of the Messiah's life. Them brothers be talking about they adapts. I have the adapt lessons. The adapt lessons is about you. You talking about some estate. The estate is you. But you don't know it because most brothers still under the exoteric, the outer value, and don't understand the golden alchemy is you. But hey, I don't know, like I say, some Moors are under the religious dogma, so I don't deal with that. So let's get into our prayer, and we're going to get this science going on. Allah, which is all law, is the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Listen closely, Moors, because see, I'm going to do this every time I do lectures. I have to give this clearly, especially if I was, once I start traveling again, I tell all Moors, you're supposed to know this. After you go over certain things and you hear the knowledge, you should want to be part of the temple. That's what this is all about. And if you see other brothers thinking you finna become a Moor and get something, that ain't what this about, family. This is scholarship right here. It's knowing who you are and knowing the God within. This is your national and identification card for the Moor Science Temple of America and birthrights for the Moor Science of Americas. We honor all the divine prophets. We honor all the divine prophets. He say Jesus, but I'm using the holy name, Yeshua. That's why he told us, brothers, if I can just get you to think, you can save yourself. But brother, just arguing. That's all they do is argue. But we obey and honor all the prophets, Yeshua, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. May the blessings of the God, our Father, Allah, which is all law, be upon you that carry this card. I do by here declare that you are a Muslim. Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, family. Research what a Muslim is. I didn't say no religious dogma. Under the divine laws of the Holy Koran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. I hear more talking about the president and all this, the government. Let me read something to you. Because see, brothers got stuff twisted. Divine warning by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting, January 15th, 1929. Listen, Moors. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. Do you hear me? Oh, y'all didn't hear me. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cars at Europeans. It caused confusion. Just like when you saying, oh, we don't get into the essence of the scriptures. I'm gonna read. I said that can be right. And when we from the tribe of Judah and the lineage of David, what are you talking about? If you follow my lecture yesterday, I showed you it wasn't no curse of Ham, but you letting an uninitiated Negro tell you some dumb stuff. And I gotta keep it 100. I gotta use the words that I see brothers calling themselves. Brothers be just wearing affairs on YouTube and Facebook. I be seeing them. I'm like, man, I wear my affairs every day. This ain't no game. This ain't no culture. Just wear with me. This is my birthright. I wear my affairs everywhere. Everywhere. All different color. I wear my bonnet. So this is no joke with me. This is not just fashion. This is science, man. And I take it serious. But stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. I can go on and on, but I'm not. My Moors know what I'm saying. So when you get a Moor telling you that they don't get into the essence of the scriptures, let me read this to you. Our noble decree. We, Supreme Grand Body and Grand Council of the Moor Science Temple of America, granted sovereign powers by the great God Allah, which is all law, and his illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, greetings to whom it may concern. the powers of this charter of warrant and dispensation, this supreme grand body bestow a title of nobility to member Khari Goodman Bey, that is descended from the royal house of Judah and that of the house of David. Come on, man. I mean, what are we talking about, Morris? And we get closer in history. You know who we're talking about? The King of Kings. When we connect ourselves. And all through history, with the bow down, you can research it in history. You got to get out of spookism and myth. When people have a religious side or a viewpoint, we trace it back to the King of Kings. Haile Selassie, my brothers and sisters. The lineage of David. And you can research it. All the kings, Britain, everybody that came and bowed down. This man went and fought in the war and then came back and ruled. And then you had certain individuals that was hating on him, saying that he was trying to colonize Ethiopia, and he was sending them young brothers to the States to get them education to come back and be something in the state. Research the real science, man. This what this man is. This that direct lineage from David. We supposed to be from the tribe of Judah, the King of Kings. Come on, man. We got to get this right. When we be saying the Lion of Judah, who you think it's talking about? Connect the dots, man. This is scholarship. This ain't no play. This ain't no walking around or this. We are a people, one people. And we must connect the dots. And the scholars must do our job. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, to register all nobles of the house of Bey to their title of nobility, pursuant to Leviticus 25 and 10. That's scripture, baby. I told you I interpreted all religious books per se. It must be interpreted the right way because it's his thoughts, not words. I told you all religious so-called truth are analogy, parable, symbology, allegory, gematria. It's the numbers code. Research this, man. I interpret all the scripts. But the powers of this decree is so ordered and commanded by the illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Americans are of royal house of Judah, descendant of King David. So what that say, Moors? I mean, y'all smart. Y'all smart. What that mean? Come on. It don't take a rocket science to put two and two together. Come on, man. You've been tricked, bamboozled, given a story that wasn't even factual. When I say Aya, Asha, Aya, when I say Ashe, that's existence. Aya, Asha, Aya is Hebrew, mean I will be what I will to be. I will be what I will to be. It's talking about man, that higher self. This is that metaphysics. See, when brothers be talking stuff, ask them to prove what they saying. I'm going to lecture on this stuff probably next week because I got hundreds of lectures. My son helping me upload on my YouTube page. So once we get going, man, it's probably going to be over 300 lectures that I've done in the last 3 years. And I'm not exaggerating. You see what I'm saying? If you can see this, what this is all about, I'm explaining this. I'm explaining what this is. I'm explaining it all. This is high science. This is what you're supposed to be learning at temples. You're supposed to be learning all law. You're supposed to be learning all law, real civics, how to operate on this earth plane. Once you master yourself, then you mastered everything else. We are not criminals. We're law-abiding citizens, man. So let's get into this prayer. I already did the Moorish prayer and the meditation. I always got to give my other meditations because that's what I do. May the benison of Allah, which is all law, arm, leg, arm, head. May the benison of Yahweh, the YHWH, both of them are manifestations, be upon thee and thine always, and thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon thy brethren, and do as thy best to shun all evil ones. Remember to take suckle breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that ye might nourish the souls of men. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Hayya, hayya. See, I give respect to all manifestations. That's that pendulum drone. That's what the Book of Mormon is all about. I can go on and on with this, man. I love what I do. But let's dig. Knowest that thou needest not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within thy own hands, family. And yes, Even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, which is all law, arm, leg, arm, head. May Yahweh, YHWH, protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. I showed you yesterday in the Egyptian alphabet, the YHWH. I showed you in history where you had in Egypt, you had two Hebrew pharaohs, Sabatos and Sebatos. I show you in the Stalin Brotherhood of the East, the circle of the seven is the Hebrew God. You got to stop letting people get you with spookism because they're not real scholars. Just because they say they are, tell them to prove it. That's in the scriptures. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and hold fast to what is good. Don't get mad if somebody asks you to prove it. You want to know for sure. If you don't, you the fool. Can't get mad at somebody else. Pray for positivity. We ain't in no rush. This school. This is what you should be learning in temple. It should be set days. Monday, we teach history. Wednesday, we teach metaphysics. Saturday, we have lectures and question and answers. Sunday, we have spiritual essence reading. We have to have this. We have to connect all the dots, family. If you say you are more, more has more than one meaning. Don't you know this, family? This is crazy. I pray that I think peace, speak peace, and that I am peace. I pray that I think truth, that I speak truth, and that I am truth. I pray that I think love, speak love, and that I am love. I pray everything I attract. I pray everything you attract carries high, harmonious vibrations and intentions. May the light within me, may the light within you serve as a beacon for those that need it. Aya, Asha, Aya. Shalom Alakim. Ashe, 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 Ashe. I can't say that enough. I get chills on my body when I say that, man. Don't you know when we do things together, man? Those are the vibrations. That's the analogy and the parable of when we do things together, we move mountains. Don't you know the bass, when that bass drum come together, we elevate things? Come on, man. This is one science. I teach this science, man. We should be willing to join together. We can have our own temple. We can have everything. Read Revelations 3 and 14. We're talking about he is faithful. He's the Amen. The Amen Ra. Cross-reference that with Deuteronomy 27:15, Nehemiah 5 and 13. It's so much, man. I can go on and on. But we're going to kick the ballistics. We're going to kick the ballistics today. Because, see, you're getting things twisted over and over and over. And I tell brothers and sisters, when I tell you, the Moors, the Hebrews, all one. When I tell you this craftsmanship, and brothers get scared, be like, oh, this masonry, this. And I say, brother, the only reason why you dissing something because you don't know. You're not an initiate. Now, I'm about to read in the Circle 7 Koran. My brothers, that's Moors. I'm going to go through this whole book because this whole Circle 7 Quran is about the 18 missing years of the Messiah life. He say Jesus, but it's Yahshua. I mean, more. I mean, what are y'all reading? You say you're more. I see more. They don't even have a Circle 7 Quran. When I be speaking on it, they be acting like I be speaking Hebrew. I'm like, man, are you crazy? So what you talking about in the temple? When I talk about the 101s and the 102s, Moors be hitting me up like, what that mean? I say, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. My dad will tell you, I had my own temple out here for a whole year. The Moors were coming in the temple. I was coming home about to blow a gasket every day. I'm like, Dad, these Negroes don't even have a Circle 7 Quran. Flat out. And they're talking straight spookism. I ain't got to say nobody's name. Straight spookism. Because most, it's just like the church. When you get, I say it's a type of everything. Remember that. Chapter 5 of the Circle 7 Quran. Read this. Read this. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, which is Yahshua, the search for him. His parents find him in a temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. When I tell you they wasn't no Christians, that's all false pseudo doctrine, European doctrine. Acts chapter 24, with Acts chapter 24 and 5, or it's 25 and 4. Wait, Acts chapter 24 and 5. When it said that this fellow is a pestilent one, the ringleader of the Nazarenes. But let me read this to you. I'm gonna start at verse 7. And if you Moors got your Circle 7 Quran, go get it. You should be writing this stuff down, making sure I'm right. Go get it. I'm gonna start at 8. And Mary said, "Why, Jesus?" And I'm correcting names because if we Hebrews and things, we're supposed to use the holy names. That's why Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think, which is research, get with a real scholar, get rid of real adapt, that's willing to share everything and willing to interpret it all. Brothers and sisters, don't you know when the Messiah, when somebody comes from love and the Spirit, he's going to reveal everything and he's going to build bridges. He's not going to be coming with no religious dogma, giving some spookism about some president and what somebody else doing. And then you see Negro Moors debating. And that's frowned upon. Debating about what? See, and we like that goofy stuff. That's sad. We don't like scholarship. That's why they laughing at us. Because what's going on is not more science. Everybody connotating, oh, I read the Kibbalan, or I read the Hermetic principles. I said, man, that's all more science. That's all kemetic. Don't you know this? No. And Mary said, "Why, Yahshua? Why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We feared that some great harm had overtaken you." And Yahshua said, because I'm replacing it with the holy name. I did a whole preface on the Holy Name Bible for my Hebrew Israelite brothers that be on the corner arguing with people. Talk about some in Jesus and God using the King James. I said, how you say you're a Hebrew? You ain't even using the names. And then you say, well, we say God. I say, no, we don't, because G-O-D and G-A-W-D is the same. That's the Phoenician God. But we don't know. We feared, okay. And Yahshua said, do you not know that I must be about my Father's work? But he went round and pressed the hand of every doctor of the law and said, every doctor of what law? That's supposed to be scholars. That's supposed to be adapts. That's supposed to know the wisdom. We going around checking them. Not in a bad way, to see if we make sure we giving the people the right thing. Because a person can misdiagnose you. Do you want somebody to practice malpractice on you, brothers and sisters? I hope not. You don't go to the doctor and say, oh, he said he a doctor. But we play with our spirituality because he sound good and he dress up. And you talk about Christian people and Negroes do the same thing. I don't care if no brother got no fez on and no temple. If it's not righteous, if you practice in religious dogma, that's not more science. "11. And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth. And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter." Let me get some libations. My mouth dry. Verse 13. Listen what I'm talking about. I'm finna go over the craftsman tools when I say this more masonry. When you got to stop dealing with brothers that's giving you spookism. Because they're not real craftsmen. I promise you. And most brothers in temples, they not practicing science. I don't care how you dressed up. All you got to do is listen to them and ask questions. They're not operating like that. One day, as he was bringing forth the tools for work, he said, so y'all thinking he's some craftsman, like some poor pestilent brother, or some poor brother on the street. Oh, I got to be doing this as a carpenter. Listen to me, family. I keep telling you, it's the thoughts, not his words. This is science. We use this stuff to build our character, to build ourselves. Ashe. Listen to me. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thoughts and where we build up character. We use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires, to keep them in bound of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home truth, pound it in until It is a part of our everyday being, of our everyday essence, of our everyday part. We use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surface of joint and block the board that go to build the temple for truth. The chisel, the line, the plummet, and the saw have all their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, love. On it we climb up to the dome of purity and life. And on the 12-step ladder we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. Come on, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to jump in it. Yeah, I know it, y'all. I be seeing all my Moors posted it on their page. And I say, you got to be more than posting. I be seeing y'all posting the sacred groves of the order of Maku or the Suik. I be seeing you. And if you read it, if you understand science, that's what I be telling brothers. Stop just posting things if you don't know. Ask questions. Because if somebody see you, they say, brother, what that mean? They don't know. I just gave you to. I said, Noble Drew Ali, he gathered and compiled. He wasn't just no idiot. Reading your Circle 7 Quran, chapter 5, start at verse 12. That's the high craftsmanship about the workman tools. He wasn't no carpenter in those streets. He was talking about the workman tools, science. And then I see brothers, and when you post on y'all page, you got the 42 path of the Moorish wisdom. I mean, aren't you reading it? I just gave it to you. I just broke it down. The Grand National Chairman. I just broke it all down. The National Sheik. The 3-step ladder. The plane. I just broke it all down. The hammer. The plummet. The square. The compass. I just broke it all down, family. I just broke it all down. The kemetic adapt manual and use of the carpenter's tool. That's what I just read to you in the Circle 7 Koran. Us Moors. That's why I said, and then the Moors, they don't know nothing. I said, this book is all about the 18 missing years of Yeshua's life. Come on, man, where he studied with the sages and everybody in Luxor, in the Mediterranean. Come on, Moors. You're supposed to know this, but you don't. All I see Moors do is arguing with each other, pulling up some old documents, talking about some birthrights, talking about some land. Don't understand that you are. That's what alchemy is about, changing the metal to gold. But you don't know this. The greatest state is you. That's why you're getting out of chattel. That's why you're supposed to nationalize. It's you getting out of chattel. But you don't know it. I see brothers talk about, oh, are you more that mean you can drive without a license? I say, whoever told you that, they a fool. Ask them how they drive without no license. That's Negro stuff, man. And why would you want to? I be giving you adapt lessons. We are law-abiding citizens, man. Anybody that is not under the law as an outlaw, period. So read that in your Circle 7 Quran, Moors. Please. All about the 18 mission years. And y'all playing. All I see is Moors reading other stuff. I said, they don't know the 101s and the 102s. What are y'all doing? And when I say the adapt lessons, I got the adapt lessons. I got the adapt lessons. This ain't no joke. So the kemetic and adapt manual and use of the carpenter's tools, family. When I tell you this is science, we have to know this. We have to do this with love and passion. That's why I get excited when I see false doctrine. I say, brothers, you have to get with the right temple, please. Just like you get with the right man, the right woman. You want the right car, but we don't do that with our science. We must connect the dots because we are one people. What you think the diet that we're on, that's the Hebrew diet. I'm gonna touch on that. But the kemetic tool manual and the use of the carpenter tools, which I just read in the Circle 7 Quran. And I'm gonna read it here. The reconstruction, the ancient and most exalted grand Ka, or the Ka and the Ba of Allah. Come on, man. I know y'all know this science, right? I know y'all know this science. That's how you operate on this earth plane. Oh man, what you thought you were just reading something and not applying it to your life application? Come on, man. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where the things are made of thought and where we build up character. Didn't I just read it? I just read that in the Circle 7 Quran, didn't I? 13. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. Read it. The square to measure. I'm not going to read them all over. But I see the more it's posting it, so study the stuff and then apply it. The ancient kemetic mystery system of the tree of life. You got to know this science. I see you posting it. The Assyrian metamorphian. Come on, man. We got to read this. We got to know the science. The 7 divisions of the spirit. Do we know the 7 divisions of the spirit? Somebody can just be throwing spookism right at you. Ask your teacher, what is this about? When I tell you, the 7 kemetic principles, the principle of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possessed the master key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open, family. See, these 7 kemetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based on, it follows the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, the principle of gender. Not no Hermetic or no Kabbalah. I keep telling you, brothers and sisters, let me do something when I say this is all law. Alchemy, all more science. Metatron, the archangel, all more science. The Kibbalan, all come from more science. The Celtic magic, all more science. The chakras, all more science. The 99th degree from Memphis and Mizraim. The Emerald Tablet of Hermes, the Kabbalah, all more science. The Hermetic philosophy and alchemy, all more science. This all connotated knowledge. And this is what I see Moore's posting. I say this all come from the kemetic principles. I study all law. Unto I grant. Revised by Sir Ramerton. A private limited edition. The Rosicrucian Library, volume 9, verse 5. All more science. I'm telling you, man. You got to know this. All the Manly P. Hall stuff. The Secret Destiny of America. All more science, man. I'm telling you. This is what you get in the temples, man. The secret teaching of all ages. This all more science, man. I'm telling you. That's why in the European temples, they only got 32 and 33 degrees. That's just a level above freezing. You get those in a temple. But when you get with the right person, that's wisdom, they take you to the 99. I'm trying to tell you, my brothers. Somebody letting you or connotating that initiation and rituals are bad. When I say it's a type, it's a type. You have to be with the right type. We're not practicing no satanism. We practice the higher science, man. And theosophy. Truth has no size. We got to know this. All that's connotated for more science. So I'm not even going to break each one of those principles down because I've done it already. I broke every one of those principles down a plethora of times, and I'm going to be uploading all my lectures that I did over the time on a couple college campuses that they let me record. Like I say, family, I have probably over 400 or 500 lectures that I've done. I promise you, and they're on, and it's just scholarship because I'm not coming from any religious perspective. I'm not here to convert anyone under no religious dogma. That's not my job. I'm here to remove the veil and teach all law and show you that we are one people, and you have to get with the right perspective and prove facts. Because listen, if the pen doesn't match the archaeology, you must change the pen. If the pen does not match the archaeology, you must change the pen. That's why you can't find the right people. So they're not here, brothers and sisters, and they get people with spookism and lying to people. I did a lecture at my temple, I think it was last year, when I quoted the Hebrew diet all through the Bible. When I say, listen, man, the Most High, he doesn't give you any room to say, oh, I didn't know. He gives specifics. And it's a specific way to eat. I'm telling you. That's why the Silent Brotherhood of the East, it says the circle and the 7 is the Hebrew God. And you looking at Egyptian alphabet, you see the YHWH. But Dietary laws that the Moors of Moor Science Temple, that we obey. Listen to this. And like I said, brothers, if I'm saying something wrong, all I say is, wow, research it, because I don't know what's going on. We're supposed to eat a certain way. We're supposed to live a certain way because we are connected to the earth. But I see a lot of brothers posting all type of crazy food. And I say, you have to try it. If you're going to get into your higher self, these are the things we're supposed to do, family. But the Moors are Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent. Therefore, the dietary laws in the Bible and the Torah are followed by the Moors, right? Why not? I gave it to you the other day. Listen, the kashrut, the kashrut, also the kashrut or the kashrut, is the set of Hebrew dietary laws, food that may be consumed according to the halak or the Hebrew law. It's termed kosher in English. That's the way it's killed. That's the way it's prepared. Because animals, when they're afraid and when they're being killed violently, a lot of animals set off a chemical and affects the meat. But hey, that's a whole nother lecture. But from the Ashkenazi pronunciation of the Hebrew term kasher, meaning fit to eat or fit to consume, in the context fit for consumption, food that is not according with the Hebrew law called treif, or in Yiddish, or treif, or derived from the Hebrew. Kosher can also refer to anything that is fit to use or corrected according to the halak or the suak. The word kosher has become English vernacular, meaning proper, legitimate, genuine, fair, or acceptable. Among the numerous laws that form part of the kashrut, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, if not, you know what I'm saying, are the prohibitions of the consumption of unclean animals, such as pork, shellfish, mussels. This all in the scriptures, family. Mixtures of meat and milk, and the commandment to slaughter mammals and birds according to a process known as shita or shithitha. Shechita. Most of the basic laws of the koshers are derived from the Torah's book of Leviticus and Deuteronomy. Although the details of the Koruth are extensive, the laws all derive from a few fairly simple, straightforward rules. Certain animals may not be eaten at all. The restriction included the flesh, organs, eggs, milk, the forbidden animals. Of the animals that may be eaten, the bird, the mammals must be killed in accordance with the Hebrew law. With the Hebrew law. All blood must be drained from the meat and poultry or broil out of it before it's eaten. Certain parts are permitted. Animals may not be eaten. So he's saying certain parts of the animal you don't eat. Like that slave food. Fruits and vegetables are permitted, but must be inspected for bugs, which cannot be eaten. Meat, the flesh of birds and mammals, cannot be eaten with dairy. Fish, egg, fruits, vegetables, and grains can be eaten with either meat or dairy. According to some views, fish may not be eaten with meat. Utensils, including pots and pans and other cooking surfaces. And these are just the extensive things. When I say it was things that were specific. But I'll get into the animals that may not be eaten. Of the beasts of the earth, which basically refer to the land mammals, with the exception of swarming rodents. You may eat any animal that has cloven hooves and chews its cud. That's scripture, family. That's in Leviticus 11:3. Also, that's in Deuteronomy 14:6. Any land mammal that does not have both of these qualities is forbidden. The Torah specifies that the camel, the rock badger, the hare, the pig are not kosher. Why? Because each lack one of these two qualifications. Cattle, sheep, goats, deer, and bison are kosher. The pig doesn't sweat. It doesn't have any sweat glands. And a lot of these animals that we're talking about, they don't eat meat. Of the things that are in the waters, you may eat anything that has fins and scales. That's Leviticus 11:9. That's Deuteronomy 14:9, family. The shellfish such as lobster, oysters, shrimp, clams, and crabs are all forbidden. And that just pertaining to the science. And I see brothers arguing, telling people what they shouldn't do. And I bet you everybody eating all the foods that I'm saying. But you on the corner telling somebody what they should and what they shouldn't do. Man, Negro, please. Fish like tuna, carp, salmon, herring are all permitted. For birds, the criteria is less, it's a little bit shady to me. The Torah provides a list of forbidden birds, family. Leviticus 11 and 13 through 19, Deuteronomy 14, 11 and 18. But does not specify why these particular birds are forbidden. It just tells you not to, the scripture does. For my brothers that read the scriptures and study all law, all of the birds on the list are birds of prey or scavengers. Thus, the rabbis or the rabbis infer that this was the basis of the distinction. Other birds are permitted, such as chicken, geese, duck, and turkey. However, some people avoid turkey because it was unknown at that time of the giving of the Torah, leaving room for doubt. Rodent, reptiles, amphibians, insects, except as mentioned above, are all forbidden. Leviticus 11:29 to 30, verse 42 and 43. And see, family, I have to elaborate on something. Another thing is when we talk about the meat and we talk about certain foods that we eat, when we go to the store, they say it's farm raised or this or that and the other. You don't know what's farm raised. So if you raising your own animals and you grass feeding your animals, you know what your animal is eating. So it's not having all the impurities and the things that others may be feeding it, chemically inducing it, GMO, and killing it prematurely. So we must be clear on certain things as well. And back then, yes, they ate meat. Our ancestors did eat meat, but we didn't eat meat like that. We might eat meat maybe once or maybe once every few months. Flat out. I promise you, family. Kosher slaughtering. The mammals and the birds that may be eaten must be slaughtered in accordance with the Hebrew law. That's in the scripture as well. I'm telling you, I can quote all this. Deuteronomy 12 and 21. We may not eat animals that died of natural causes. That's in Deuteronomy 14 and 21. Or that were killed by other animals. In addition, the animal must have no disease or flaws in the organs at the time of slaughter. These restrictions do not apply to fish, only the flock and the herds. That's Numbers 11:22. This the Hebrew diet. This the Moorish diet that we go by, family. Draining of the blood, that's in the Torah, prohibits consumption of blood. That's Leviticus 7:26-27, Leviticus 17:10 and 14. This is the only dietary law that has a reason specified in the Torah. We do not eat blood because the life of the animal, literally the soul of the animal, is contained in the blood, family. Don't you know that? This applies only to the blood of birds and mammals, not to fish blood. Thus, it is necessary to remove all blood from the flesh of the kosher animals. The remaining blood must be removed either by broiling or soaking and salting. Liver may only be kosher or kosher by the broiling method because it has so much blood in it and such complex blood vessels. Don't you know your meat does have blood vessels even when it's detached from the animal? But this final process must be completed within 72 hours after slaughter and before the meat is frozen or ground, family. Most butchers and all frozen food vendors take care of the soaking and the salting for you. But you should always check this when you are buying someplace you are unfamiliar. Forbidden fats and nerves, it's there. The sciatic nerve and its adjoining blood vessels may not be eaten. The process of removing this nerve is the consuming and not cost effective. So most American kosher slaughterers simply sell the hen quarters to non-kosher butchers. A certain kind of fat known as shelev or shelev, CHELEV, which surrounds the vital organs and the liver, may not be eaten. Kosher butchers remove this, family. I promise you. Modern scientists have found biochemical differences between this type of fat and the presumable fat around the muscles and under the skin. That's why when I say You got to get in the right perspective. Culture is not no Jewish thing, man. This is Hebrew things. We must understand this science, man. You have to let somebody, the words need to be deciphered. Fruits and vegetables. All fruits and vegetables are kosher. But it's certain grapes that I have to touch on later because that'll be long. But however, bugs and worms that may be found in some fruits and vegetables are not kosher. Fruits and vegetables that are prone to this sort of thing, family, should be inspected to ensure that they contain no bugs. Leafy vegetables like lettuce, herbs, flowery vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower are particularly prone to bugs and should be inspected carefully, family. Strawberries and raspberries can also be problematic. Separation of meat and dairy. On these separate occasions, the Torah tells us not to boil a kid in his mother's milk. That's in scripture. That's Exodus 23 and 19, Exodus 34 and 26, Deuteronomy 14 and 21. The Oral Torah explains this passage. It prohibits eating meat and dairy together. It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. You know, I could touch on, like, probably next week, I'm going to touch on a lot of the herbs and the things that I use for healing, things that I take for my body and things. When I say you always check with your doctor on everything, but it's just certain things that I eliminate, and it took time. You know, it did take time, family. But if we're going to say we Moors, we are master craftsmen. We are not under no religious dogma. I just showed you in the Circle 7 Koran about the workman tools. I just gave it to you. All those craftsman tools is to build yourself up. I just gave it to you in the Circle 7 Koran. I'm going to upload it later and send it to everybody. I'm telling you. So I don't know what people be talking about. This Circle 7 Koran is about the 18 missing years of Yahshua life. That's why I be asking more. Do y'all read this in the temples? And I'm going to leave with this. And then tomorrow I'm going to go over the house of mysticism, the Egyptian adapt prophet and angel. I went over it before, but I'm going to go over it again. But before I leave, I'm going to leave y'all with the Circle 7 Quran. Know thyself and thy Father God, Allah. Man, the first page. When I say, I don't know what brothers be talking about. The genealogy of Jesus, which is Yahshua the Messiah, because there never was a J in the Hebrew alphabet. Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think, you can save yourself, but Negroes don't want to think. But the genealogy of Jesus, with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. What? Moors? These secret lessons are for all of those who love Jesus, which is Yahshua. Desire to know about his life and works and teachings. Huh? Oh. But you going around saying you some Muslim, huh? See? The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims, the Moslems of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, which is all law, manifestation, higher self, arm, leg, arm, head, they loosened the keys and freed the secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of Muslims in America. All authority and rights of publishing this pamphlet of 1927. I mean, what y'all talk about, Moors? I mean, come on, let's keep digging. The industrious acts of the Muslims of Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hamites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and receiving permission. Remember when I tell you anti mean replacement. You thinking some antichrist is some president. Antichrist is your replacement theology that you gravitate to. Do some scholarship, man. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. The creation and fall of man. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Ye from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Ooh, Ashe. When I was in the temple going over this, brothers talk about, oh, they don't read the Circle 7 Quran because it's written in code. I said, what? English? That's why I laugh. Because I see too many Moors, man. They just arguing on Instagram. Or send money to my Instagram page. But you ain't doing nothing with it. You ain't teaching no kids. You ain't buying backpacks. You ain't going to the schools and lecturing, telling the kids it's getting ready to be Black History Month per se. I want to see how many more is going into school doing lectures. I did it all last year. I'm gonna do it again for free. I love doing it. This is what I do. I have soccer camps every year for free. Every year. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is the spirit of a part of Allah. Ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear ye now, O protoplasm, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear ye now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear ye now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of the water, of the air, and the earth. That's what that cross, fire, water, wind, earth. Come on, man. That cross wasn't nothing but a death device, man. We teach science, man. We teach science. Hear ye now, O everything that is, or was, or even more will be. For wisdom speaks. For wisdom speaks. For wisdom speaks. From out of the highest plane of spirit life, man is a thought of Allah, which is all law, which is manifestation. All things of manifestation are finite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah, which is all law, are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come, family. And so is man, the spirit man, the you man. See, we break things down etymologically. When you break the HU, the U, and the HUE, that have to do, that's the color, that's the human. Mankind has something else to do. That's just like the ish, but that's a whole nother lecture. So spirit man as seed of Allah, which is all law, which is manifestation, which is that YHWH, held deep within himself, the attributes of every part of manifestation. Now seeds are perfect, ye, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. See, we gonna kick this sign. I'm reading for the Circle 7 Quran, family. Right? Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was fully manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things, without a foe, a soldier, never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah, which is all law, made manifest, which is the YHWH, which is what we stand up. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about the alchemy, the gold. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, or protoplasm, or mineral, of plant, of beast, but he giving up his birthrights just to grafty his lower self, family. But man will regain his lost estate. Now we're getting that estate. When people be talking about when Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think, his estate is you. That's your estate. You don't get the science, do you? You don't get the science. But he giving up his birthrights just to grafty or to have pleasure in his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage. But he suffered trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim, the rule, the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah, which is all law, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered the carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose. It will serve its purpose well indeed, family. And it will fall, will be no more. This is the Circle 7 Koran. This is the high science in the book. Then he will stand untrammeled. And I'm adding my part in, on your square. Totally 720. On the plane of soul where he must complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. There he must overcome the everyone. Thus hope will ever be his beacon of light. There is no failure for the human soul. For Allah, which is all law, is leading on, and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and Allah lives. Man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, family, the seed will have fully opened. It will burst out like the flower that blooms, family. We talking chemical sciences, man. It will unfold that holy breath. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and at one with Allah. This is the Circle 7 Quran, family, brothers and sisters. Education of Mary and Elizabeth in Egypt. The council said that John and Jesus, which is Yeshua, both were dead. Then he was satisfied. The whole Circle 7 Quran is talking about the missing year, the 18 missing years of his life. The whole Circle 7 Quran, family, for my Moors. Life and works of Jesus in India amongst the Muslims. Jesus, which is Yeshua. The friendship of Jesus and Lamas. Jesus explains to Lamas the meaning of the truth. I'm reading the Circle 7 Quran, family. Jesus reveals to the people of their sinful ways. Jesus attempted a feast in Bihar, and here he taught human equality. Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. Jesus and Bharatha together, they read the sacred book. I'm going to keep going. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. Life and works of Jesus in Egypt among the Gentiles. The ministry of John the Harbinger. Divine ministry of Jews, which were Hebrews. Jesus, which is Yeshua, goes to the wilderness for self-examination, where he remained for 40 days. What was he doing? Practicing alchemy, changing his chemical makeup. He was getting a flush and fill. And he was rebooting his hard drive. Is subjected to 3 temptations. He overcomes. Returns to the camps of John and begins teaching. Pilate's final effort to release Jesus, which is Yeshua, it failed. He washes his hands and saying, I'm done with it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Delivers Jesus to the Jews for execution. Not the Hebrews, the Romans. The soldiers drive him to Calvary. Come on, man. I'm going to keep going. Jesus appears fully materialized before Apollo, and the Silent Brotherhood in Greece appears to Claudius and Juliet on Tiber near Rome, appears to the priests in the Egyptian temple in Heliopolis. The resurrection of Jesus, which is Yeshua. Pilate places the Roman seal upon the stone door of the tomb at midnight. A company of the Silent Brothers march about the tomb. The soldiers are alarmed. Jesus, which is Yeshua, teaches the spirits in prison. Early Sunday morning, he riseth from the tomb. The soldiers are bribed by the priest to say that the disciples have stolen the body. This is the Circle 7 Quran. I'm done. Shalom.